Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Tuesday, September 30, 2025. And in the news this morning, fruit vendor gunned down in St. Catherine. The rural farming community of Harewood in St. Catherine has been plunged into mourning following the fatal shooting of one of its own on Sunday night. The deceased has been identified as 55-year-old Wayne Mundell, otherwise called Coco and Hanson, a fruit vendor of Harewood District, Riversdale, and Portmore, St. Catherine. Reports are that about 7 p.m. on September 28, Mundell was at home with relatives when explosions were heard coming from a bedroom. Checks were made and he was found motionless in a pool of blood with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the head. The police were summoned, and on arrival, the body was seen lying on its back, clad in a black pair of shorts. The body was later removed by a funeral home. No motive has been established for Mundell's killing. The Riversdale police are investigating. Bumpy accused of beating man and stealing $12,000. A Hanover rafter has found himself on the wrong side of the law after allegedly roughing up a man, smashing his belongings, and walking off with his cash during a heated altercation in Leith on Sunday. Charged is 37-year-old Vivian Crichton, otherwise called Bumpy, of Leith, Hanover. He is facing counts of assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, malicious destruction of property, and larceny from the person. According to reports from the Hanover police, about 1:30 p.m., Crichton and another man got into an argument that quickly spiraled out of control. During the clash, Crichton allegedly attacked the man, damaging his Samsung Galaxy A14 cell phone and tearing his shirt. He is also accused of taking $12,000 from the man's pocket before leaving the scene. The total damage to the phone and the shirt is estimated at $30,000. The matter was reported to the police, and Crichton was later arrested and charged. His court date is being finalized. Trial on Friday for man who allegedly dismembered uncle. The trial is set to begin on Friday for a man accused of fatally chopping his uncle at their home in Stony Hill, St. Andrew, before chartering a taxi to transport the dead man's body parts to Cavaliers, where he set the remains ablaze. The incident took place 3 years ago. The accused, 43-year-old Samuel Peter John Waldo, who is in police custody, is said to have killed 77-year-old Derek Red Lindsay on June 4, 2022. Waldo then vanished, and the victim was reported missing about 8 p.m. that night. Detectives cracked the case a few days later. On June 6, the police were led down a precipice where smoke was still emanating from some of Lindsay's remains about 11 a.m. Reports from the Stony Hill police are that investigations led to Waldo's home, where bloodstains were found inside. Waldo was arrested some weeks later after he was accosted in Kencott, St. Andrew, in the St. Andrew Central Police Division. The trial was initially to begin yesterday, but was put off when the matter was called up. After the murder, Waldo reportedly chartered the taxi and traveled with 2 suitcases filled with body parts. Investigators say the taxi driver was questioned and released. The prosecution believe Waldo bought $500 worth of gasoline before he was taken to the remote location. The taxi driver, who was questioned by the police, reportedly took lawmen and relatives to a separate location before taking them to the area where he had dropped Waldo off with what he believed was luggage. The investigation also found that bleach and other chemicals were used in the house where the murder took place in an attempt to clean the scene. However, bloodstains were still found at the scene. Lorna Lindsay, the daughter of the deceased, has been to court for every appearance of the accused since Waldo was charged. She told the news yesterday that she was happy the trial is set to begin on Friday. The setback was partly because of the psychiatric evaluation process. He was evaluated, then the time passed, and he had to be re-evaluated. The court said everything is ready to proceed with the trial come Friday. "We are ready to bring this matter to an end," a relative told the news, adding that the family is nearing closure. Justice Leighton Pusey is presiding over the trial. Waldo is a former musician who had songs playing on the airwaves several years ago. Community rallies after 7-year-old student raped while heading home. The brutal rape of a 7-year-old girl last Thursday has sparked outrage and mobilized a strong response from parents, residents, and the national stakeholders who have rallied to comfort a student population at Bermadi Primary School left traumatized and fearful. According to police reports, the child was attacked last Thursday by a 31-year-old man who allegedly dragged her into a bus while she was walking home from school and sexually assaulted her. The suspect reportedly left her for dead, but the child managed to alert her grandparent, who then raised the alarm. Acting on the description provided by the child, angry residents intercepted the alleged perpetrator as he attempted to flee in a taxi. He was handed over to police and has since been charged with forcible abduction, rape, and other serious offenses. On Monday, a special devotional exercise was held at the school to help students process the trauma. Among those who visited the community to offer support were St. Catherine Northwestern Member of Parliament Damien Crawford, Senior Superintendent Hopeton Nicholson, head of the St. Catherine North Police, and representatives from the Office of the Children's Advocate. Pointing out that the alleged perpetrator is not from the community, Crawford said there must be a strategy to prevent such persons from infiltrating local spaces. "In my capacity as a member of parliament, I will be pushing for the sex offender registry to be made public so that it is known to the communities when they are hiring individuals, when they are inviting individuals, and sometimes even when they are facilitating strangers in the area," Crawford said. He also linked the crime to infrastructure neglect, explaining that the dire condition of the road leading to the school had caused the taxi operators to abandon the route, forcing children to walk home. To address this, Crawford said he will be advocating for a rural school road repair program similar to the Farm Road Maintenance Initiative, specifically for roads leading to educational institutions. This is particularly important for rural schools, which don't have the numbers for them to be a priority in the decisions for which roads are to be fixed, he said. Crawford noted that because of the long history of bad roads and the reluctance of taxi operators to ply the route, he has written to the Ministry of Education requesting funding for walking wardens to accompany students until the community recovers from the trauma. He added that his office will also meet with the taxi operators to work out a program of vehicle front-end maintenance to ensure the route is served in the interim. Meanwhile, Nicholson disclosed that the suspect has been charged with forcible abduction, rape, and several other offenses. He also revealed a troubling trend in the division. While shootings and murders are down, sexual offense crimes are on the increase, with some 35 reported this year in comparison to the corresponding period last year, he said, noting that the rise includes matters committed last year but only reported recently due to the absence of a statute of limitations. Nicholson commended investigators for their diligence, stating that the St. Catherine North Division has a 90% clear-up rate for sexual offenses because of the special attention paid to such crimes. Principal Melbourne Thompson reported that the school attendance plummeted to 60% on Friday as fear gripped the parents and the students. Though attendance rebounded on Monday, he admitted that the atmosphere remains tense. Thompson added that he has remained in contact with the victim, who is out of hospital and recuperating at home. She sounded upbeat, but according to her parents, her nights are most traumatic, Thompson told the news. St. Elizabeth police report success in crackdown on rogue motorcyclist. The St. Elizabeth police are reporting success in their drive against the motorcyclist operating in contravention of the Road Traffic Act. Inspector Everald Williams says over the last 2 weeks, more than 30 motorcycles were removed from the streets of the parish. He He says that the motorcyclists were riding without a license, insurance, and fitness. According to Inspector Williams, the police will continue their relentless drive against the motorcyclists who operate in breach of the law. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.